Hi, I'm Jazzmyne.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Joyce.
And welcome to our seance.
Our what?
Our what?
It's not a seance. Today, we're looking at our first relationships, which all look super different.
And we have a special guest coming to our fort, our friend Sasha.
Hi! Oh my God, it's the fort.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a seance because you just appeared.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Is this thing gonna talk to us?
How old were you when you had your first relationship?
Oh, I could tell you.
Okay.
Never.
Situationships.
Situationships.
I know that very well. I think it was probably 16 or 17, but it was just one of those, like, we didn't even, like, hold hands, really. I was a shy girl. And it lasted, like, a month, probably.
I called my friend Tony my boyfriend in kindergarten, and we both are so gay.
I love that.
If I don't count my kindergarten relationship,
Right.
then my first relationship was when I was 16. I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16.
The first, like, hold hands on, like, at school, I think I was in, like, 7th grade.
Oh, you're one of
Ooh.
those.
Yeah, it's a hotsy totsy.
I love that.
I was, like, obviously a little, like, a queer kid.
Right.
But didn't know I was trans yet, so I was with a girl and didn't realize, like, oh, I actually want to be her. Taking notes.
You know.
Like, you know,
Yes,
what
yes, yes.
moisturizer do you use? I love your scent.
What level of relationship would you say it was?
Like a 1 to 5?
Yeah.
5 being
Okay.
full on serious?
Right.
Yeah, and one being just friends, but special friends, maybe?
Yeah.
I would say 2. We went on like dates and like held hands and did things like
Yeah.
that. But I didn't. I like look back. I'm like, did I even like it? It's like sometimes when you're in town, there's not that many options.
Yeah.
You kind of just lean into whatever's there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna go off my kindergarten relationship. I'm gonna go off my 16-year-old relationship. I would say we were at like people knew we were talking with each other. They knew we were seeing each other. I don't think we were ever like official. Like, I'm your girlfriend, I was dating it was a guy. Kyle. So what is that, like a 2?
Oh, well, I guess then I was a 3 then.
Well, then what's 1 and 2?
Well, I thought 1 was like.
We were
well,
going 1 through 5.
It was like a 1.5.
How did you meet?
The thing is that, you know, most of my situationships are friends who are like, wait, Joyce, I'm in love with you.
So dumb.
why is that still how it is?
So we met through friendship most of the times.
Both of my high school boyfriends that lasted 0.2 seconds were because I worked at the movie theater in town, and so they both worked at the movie theater, and they both didn't even go to my high school. Like, it was a different high school. So I feel like that
That's
also is why the
fun.
relationship
Yes.
never really progressed, because we never saw each other
Yeah.
except for like after work or if we were in the same shift.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Me and Kyle, we hung out in the same friend group.
I was, like, in 7th grade, so, like, whoever was sitting next to me.
Who would sit with you on the bus?
Right. You're the one.
Yeah.
Did you take it very seriously, or was it just a fun, casual experience?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did some reckless things in college, in high school.
Tell.
I'm just gonna say his name. So I used to write love letters to this boy named Jameson, and he never knew it was me, and we used to post it in the hallways. That poor boy, he had a girlfriend and everything. He's like, please stop, and I was like,
Oh
it wasn't
my
in my
God.
handwriting, because, you know, I got really bad handwriting. So yeah, we had a whole team of girls who were just writing letters to these boys.
No, I never once took it seriously.
No?
No, because now, like, later in life, any person I like remotely dated, I was like, could I spend the rest of my life? Like, I
Right,
looked
right,
far
right.
into it, but you'd think that of me in high school, but I definitely didn't.
I definitely wasn't looking far into it either. I was there for like, let's round these bases. That's what I was trying to do. Make out, hickeys, dicks.
Whoa!
Yeah, I was like, I wanted, like, a saga. I mean, who does it when you're, like, 7th grade? Everything's, like,
So
dramatic.
serious.
And plus, it was, like, I'm 80s baby, so I was definitely, like, listening to, like, The Cure on the way. So I was already programming myself for, like, unrequited love. And plus, I was totally, like, the most feminine, like, queer kid in school. And so they all knew, but I was just trying to be like, I can be like one of y'all.
Right. Oh.
And so, like, really, it was, like, my girlfriends that took, like, I'll hold your hand for a
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Aw.
So you figure it out.
What did you learn from your first relationship?
Oh my God.
So for me, I think what I've learned from my relationships is that relationships aren't like the movies. And I need someone who I'm actually compatible with and someone who loves and treats me with respect instead of treating me like a secret.
At first I thought my type did change drastically because I'm so much older now. But looking back, I've always been super into like artistic boys, creative, into like theater. When I look back, they've all played like a musical instrument.
Oh.
And it's still relevant to this day, so maybe it hasn't changed. I love a soft boy. Always have.
That's true.
He always has.
I think what has changed most for me is when I was younger, I was like talking about standards. I was like, no standards. Like, if you show me attention, I want to date you, you know? And now I'm like,
I hope my standards have gotten better. If you're breathing, I like you. You know?
okay, yeah.
Same.
I feel that.
Yeah, and I was like, let's like do it. Let's see. I pan, so I like whatever. Like I'm not like tied down by a gender. Or anything, so.
Do you think when you were younger, you were tied down to a gender?
I felt like I had to be, because you know the hard thing is when you're like trans and then your sexual identity and your sexual preference, they get all like misconstrued. So I had to really like, I actually was still attracted to girls, or like I would like a boy now and then. Like, so it would go back and forth, but I was definitely like trans. So it was kind of like, well, who can get this? Who can undo this like Rubik's Cube? You can kick it.
Yep.
True.
What are the pros of being in a relationship?
Someone to make out with and satisfy you physically.
That's true.
Yes.
Like having someone on your team.
I was gonna say that too.
You know, I feel like when I was younger, whenever I thought about like what I wanted in a relationship, I wanted someone to like lift me up as much as I lift them up and like constantly like be inspired and go back and forth. I still believe that to this day.
What are the cons of being in a relationship?
Cons, somebody always up your butt. You know, someone's always with you. I need like alone time. According to my mother, I'm actually very introverted. So I would need someone who's like, doesn't expect me to text him every single day. And in a lot of my past situationships, because I wasn't texting them at 6:45 or texting them before I went to bed, they thought that I didn't care about them. So it's just like, for me, it's like having healthy boundaries.
Losing yourself for the person. Even in a good or bad relationship, but like trying to find your worth, you know, based on them, and like changing things that you actually like about yourself, that could be like really detrimental.
What are some red flags?
There's too many.
There's so many. People really trying to control you as a person. Like a lot of my toxic situations were people who wanted me to have less opportunities, wanted me to speak less, wanted me to be insecure, like made me feel like I wasn't worth being loved. And so it's like, through their own insecurities, they projected that onto me. So I feel like you need to literally watch how a person treats themselves, because if they treat themselves horribly, they're gonna treat you even worse.
I think when you start dating someone, my mom used to always say, like, see if they have friends. And see how those friends are. And when I look back at all the guys I talked to or whatever that just didn't work out or turned out to be not good people, I always look at them like, they didn't have friends.
Or like the friends that they keep, you know, like, oh, y'all are shady.
This is looking back, because when I was in it, you could have dangled a red flag in my face and I would have been like, oh, a scarf. Like, so. But now looking back, realizing that I was giving up more of myself than I was getting in return, that would be like, that's what I've taken moving forward, finding partners. Like, I'm not your therapist.
What advice would you give someone who is starting their first relationship?
Go to therapy.
Masturbate, so that you know what you want in the bedroom.
Honestly.
You can't just like...
And so that you're not depending on someone else.
Meditate on your core values so that you don't lose yourself in the relationship. It's easy, especially in a first relationship, super easy to just fall into a person and forget about yourself. And just remember that the person you should be with is someone that you really don't have to change for core value wise, and that is just on the same path as you.
I mean, high school, focus on school.
Right?
Yeah.
Focus on education, focus on that check.
It's fun if it's like if
hey.
you're looking for a first relationship, just know it's fun.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not like the movies.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get that was unanimous.
Yes.
See, like every relationship is a learning experience, and don't see it as like a failure.
There's my favorite song is called The John Wayne, and one of the lines says, "There's so many more people out there to love than people who love you now."
Ooh.
So don't let your first love experience be the end of the movie.
Truth.
Love.
Love.
Lust.
Love.
Stand your ground.
Apologize.
Apologize.
I have to apologize more often.
I'm gonna say Little Spoon.
Little Spoon.
Big!
Spoons are like this.
Separate drawers.
They're like kind of like the butt of the spoons are touching.
Farting openly phase. Ugh.
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Farting openly.
I was raised Haitian, so this is really hard for me, so I'm gonna say privacy.
PDA.
PDA.
Privacy.
Oh.
The Dumpee.
Dumper? No, Dumpee.
Dumper.
Dumpee. Blame them.
Blame them and make a beautiful short film about it. That's literally how I graduated film school.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for coming into the
Sasha.
fort.
Thank you all for having me. I love this.
And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was enlightening for you. And maybe bring your booty back to the fort for next time. Bye.